So, Stuart, obviously we've seen Azure sovereign starting to spring up kind of across Europe and other regions. What's Microsoft's current take on digital sovereignty in your view?
So, digital sovereignty, I mean, I think if you actually break it back to what do we mean by sovereignty? And typically that's a kind of catch-all phrase for a series of controls to help businesses, organisations, agencies, departments manage risk. And so digital sovereignty really is how we might provide controls to help manage those risks in the modern era. And some of those controls might challenge existing sovereign values, for want of a better expression. And so, for example, as we've seen in Ukraine, having everything in one country doesn't necessarily mean that you're going to be safe if the adversary in question is prepared to go kinetic. And that's a challenge that we need to face, understand, and mitigate. But we also need to think about when we look at the sovereignty of old, that was built in an era and an age where we would send the troops in to run the power stations or turn the taps on in the streets or run our hospitals in the event of an outage. And we have to think about how practical is that today as an element. That said, once we start to move up the classification layer, we start to get into areas where it becomes increasingly more difficult to deliver truly sovereign capability in the public cloud. And that's to do mostly with the controls associated with those higher levels of sensitivity and how those could be replicated today in a way that manages the risk in a way. So the short answer version of that is it's a very complex space. It's driven by business risk. And ultimately, digital sovereignty provides technical controls which to some problems which are functionally analog.
Interesting. Okay.